So we're going to start off, welcome to our June close meeting, and we're going to start off with an order of business. Our terms are up for the existing board, which has actually accidentally served a 2-year term instead of a 1-year term. So we are overdue for electing a new board, and we have a slate to vote on. And our board bylaws state that we can have anywhere is between 5 and 9 board members, and we have 8 that are stepping forward to be on the board. So that means that we don't need to have elections against each other, so we can vote for the whole slate unless there is an objection, or if a majority objects, then the slate will pass. So the people who have volunteered to serve were nominated by the existing board and approached and have agreed to serve for a 1-year term. And what else do I want to say? It's a 1-year term. We have 2 board members who have already voted in absentia because they couldn't be here tonight. And the rest of us can vote, but those of us who are on the slate are not allowed to vote. So that's me and Chris. Everybody
And
else
Marge?
is allowed. Oh, Marge, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Me, Chris, and Marge. So everybody else is allowed to vote. So Paul, if you should conduct the vote.
Yeah, let's conduct a vote. All those in favor of supporting the existing proposed slate for the 2019-2020 Close Community Board membership, raise your hand and say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, what would be your reason? Not hearing any opposition, I welcome the new board members to the Close Community Coalition Board of Directors.
Yay!
Thanks for coming, everyone.
So that's, just to make it clear, that's unanimous with the 2 absentia votes, who also voted to support the new board, so that's awesome. The next thing we were going to talk about was our community survey, which surveyed parents in the district, middle school and high school parents, and we wanted to turn the results of the survey into a norms campaign that we're going to embed within the community through a variety of venues. So we've already had a couple of subcommittees working on this, the Marketing and Outreach Committee and Needs Assessment was kind of pulling out some of the data. So Paul was going to explain to us how a norms campaign works, and then we have several of the data points that we've pulled out that we wanted to share with the group and get feedback on the specific messaging around, and decide a theme, visual theme that we'd like to go with for the whole campaign, and then we're hoping to roll that out, I believe, starting in the fall. Is that our target, or are we going to start earlier? Fall? Okay. So take it away, Paul.
Thanks. I am going to pull up the top 7 messages that we came to selecting with the Outreach Committee. The Assessment and Evaluation Committee also had a say in these messages, and there were probably 30 plus potential messages or data points we could have chosen, but we chose these 7. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show us the 7 messages first. We're going to break out into groups at the end of the meeting so that it would make more sense with the television. But I just wanted to share the messages and then start to get sort of group feedback before we get into the sort of nitty-gritty of the little smaller groups. And so that is why we are going to post it right back up here to the AirPlay.
We just voted you in on the board. Not just you, everybody,
Yeah.
but welcome.
Yeah. And I am going to make this larger. Cool. Okay. This was the first message we came to with our data, and it was more than 90%, but 9 out of 10 made the most sense as far as phrasing. 9 out of 10 Longmeadow parents have talked to their children and have clear rules about the dangers of underage drinking and other drug use. And underneath that, and so there's 7. We want to get people's feedback. Maybe we'll use all 7, but maybe we'll tweak the messages. Maybe we'll use 5 and tweak the messages. But I'd love to get some edits when we get into the smaller groups. But people's first impressions of this message, and I'll explain what the little image is of at the bottom of this in a second, but what are people's just first gut responses to this, thinking it would be spread all around the community for like a month?
It's too long.
It is too long. How would we decrease that?
children need clear rules about dangers of underage drinking?
9 out of 10 Lima parents have clear rules about dangers of underage drinking and other drug use.
Oh, yeah, we don't
Although-
need
but it
to
was
have
from-
talk to their children. We don't need that, right? Because it's for their children, that's assumed. Okay.
Because if they have clear rules, they've communicated them?
Yeah,
Mhm.
Have discussed.
I mean,
Discussed.
yeah, it doesn't necessarily mean they've discussed it, right? They might have clear rules
Right, but nobody
up
knows
here,
about
but they
it.
may
There might
not,
not be
yeah.
any discussion, yeah.
I feel like that happens at my house all the time.
Didn't we once talk about that kids need, like, kids thrive and want clear rules about things?
Mhm.
Wasn't that something, a theme? So you're saying this is like telling, it's an easy message to parents where you don't need to, fight back and forth. It's just kind of like here's clear rules. That's all you need to do.
Mm.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it's good to know that many parents are already doing it. So if you are getting an argument about it, you're not the only parent who's making those clear rules.
Oh, I should back up. Thank you, Shelley. Social norms campaigns. Terry's just sitting on it. It's all he's thinking. He's not saying anything. Social norms campaigns are when you have positive behaviors that you want to highlight and celebrate in town instead of the negative. So it's not fear-based tactics. It's not, there's no scare tactics. It's not negative behaviors you want to avoid. It's positive behaviors you want people to replicate and mimic. So we focused on things that parents do that are really positive parenting practices, and that apparently is supposed to close the gap in perception between parents who think that nobody does this and parents actually, the next time we survey them, saying, yeah, actually, I do that too. I feel more like a part of the healthy majority. And so this will name the healthy majority, the data that we have, and parents will feel more comfortable sort of naming that and talking about that with their peers. So that's sort of the point of the social norms campaign, is to start to sway the data toward people being more aware of this fact and this reality, that most parents do healthy parenting things.
And we arrived at this 7 by looking at the ones that seemed to have the most significant percentages that had the most positive impact.
Yeah, so if it was 6 out of 7 parents,
I'm fine.
Do not allow marijuana use or something like that, which that's not the case. But if that were the point, that would just be kind of a low, yeah. Actually, there's one that's a little lower there that's coming up, and we can talk about that. And the reason why we wanted to share it, even though it was lower.
So do you
Hey,
want us
Paul.
to still share ideas for how to streamline it, or do that later?
Sure. If you have, I'm sorry, this is like first brainstorm response, and then we can dig into it a little bit better in smaller groups. Yeah.
I think the big thing depends on where it's going to be viewed. Like, there's all these great signs around town right now about parents not providing alcohol that I've driven past 300 times or more,
Okay.
and I still don't know what it says for the whole thing because there's so much
So much text.
text
Yeah.
on it. Yeah.
You're right.
You know the general message, though. We're happy about that.
We think you do. I've seen these great signs. Don't know what they say.
And it says parents who host.
Lose the most.
Lose the most.
Yeah, but it could say parents who host win the most.
Are awesome.
You can't read it all the way through. It's true. It's just
complicated.
It gets complicated, and you're right. The drive-by is not. So these would be not necessarily on lawn signs, but these would be on poster, like 11.5 by 11 by 8.5 posters, or 11 by 17 posters in all the locations in town that allow posters, the canvas boards that are in town. And then it would also be attached to this message, and then theme that we'll discuss as a group too, would be part of a postcard campaign for all middle and high school parents. So they'll all get a postcard. I mean, on the back of it would have like a lot more information about setting clear rules and our campaign and the Close Community Coalition and that sort of thing.
A postcard with one of these things.
Yeah, it'll be like
And then
the front of the
and then
postcard
back
would be
explain
this.
the front.
The back would explain a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Exactly. It'll explain.
Not too much.
The back will explain not too much, but more than
But
a
enough.
one-liner. Yeah.
So
These are
like-
supposed to be one-liners.
So like some of the suggestions that a lot of people have had, we want to start the conversation. So if taking out words or try to clarify some things, those are some of the things that we want to know. We've discussed that in some of our meetings too, but we're looking for suggestions. What's going to have the most impact and understandable for people.
Like when you get it in the
Let's
mail
start
or
the
you see it at
conversation.
Starbucks.
So I think the big thing is where is it going to be placed? So if this is on a postcard or a poster, that's not too much information. But if I'm driving by, there's no way.
Yeah, that's
I
not
would
where-
do that.
but it's
So
not
I
where
think
we
it
do it.
depends where it's.
But think
If you're
about-
going the
think about
speed
si-
limit, it might be okay.
Think about
you know,
sifting
Chris?
through your
Yes.
mail too. As you're going through your mail, how quick do you
Yeah.
you look 2 to 3 seconds at something? And if something like that has too many words, and you may see 9 and 10 clear rules.
I think any posters we have to be even a
Yeah.
little smaller, because if you go like
What
into
would make you stop
the
and look
Grapevine
at
or
it?
something, their community board is full of
It's
things.
stacked with
And you
stuff, yeah.
can't
Well, I
take
think that's
other
where the
people's
theme
down.
comes in. We have to pick a theme that grabs, that will make them want to read it.
And I'll tell you, that might be an easier place to start. And then how do these refer back to the theme?
I have an idea. So let me go through all the messages. Then let's talk about theme. And in the smaller groups, we'll get into the real nitty gritty. Because you're right, if we take all the nitty gritty now, then it's not going to be fun in the smaller groups. Great. I think that's an awesome idea. So let's go through all of this. I'll say 2 more things before we move on. So this teeny tiny little image at the bottom is actually a clip from a YouTube video. We also have such awesome support from LCTV that they're willing to air PSAs that would be relevant messaging to each data point that we've chosen. So these PSAs are like 30 to 60 to 90 seconds, depending on the PSA. And at the very end of the PSA, so this one right here is a Talk They Hear You. Talk They Hear You. It's by the Substance Abuse Mental Health Services Administration. It's an evidence-based campaign and curriculum to educate parents on how to have the conversation with their teenagers about substance use. And this particular PSA is all about having clear rules and having the talk. So that PSA would air on LCTV for a month before the really high profile events. So like the school committee meetings, the select board meetings, and then the first church services on Sundays, that sort of thing. And then at the very end, it could have Longmeadow's data point. Boom. 9 out of 10 Longmeadow parents have talked, whatever we end up choosing for the language. And then it'll have the close community, www.closecommunity.org, that kind of thing. So I'm attaching little videos of these are evidence-based educational PSAs that have been put out by either SAMHSA or the Surgeon General or the Mass Department of Public Health, that kind of thing. So that's LCTV just being an awesome partner and hey, we want to get this message out there. Why not pair it up with an already successful media PSA campaign? So if you also know of I've seen this video that's amazing, it's from Oregon or whatever you're thinking, that would be great in the breakout groups as well. Okay, I'm just going to plow through the next 6. More than 8 out of 10 Longmeadow parents have talked to their children about the dangers of marijuana use. And again, that campaign, the PSA is from Massachusetts DPH. More about marijuana, with that woman with the ungodly length arms. That's so bizarre. So 8 out of 10 parents, dangers, marijuana use. Ignore the stuff at the bottom for now. 71% of Longmeadow parents have talked to their children about the dangers of prescription pill abuse. And we were thinking about subtitles too. Keep talking, they hear you. Because this data point wasn't that high. So our surprise was this needs to be so much higher. It's high for marijuana. That was an awful pun. It's higher for cannabis. It's less low for marijuana, and it's really high for alcohol. Why is it only around 70% for prescription drugs? That's not. We need to have that talk more. So we were thinking about subtitles like "Keep talking, they hear you," or using someone else's prescription drugs is illegal, unsafe, and addictive. It's not necessarily addictive, but could be. So that would already change that message. Or talk early, talk often, have clear rules with reasons, and follow through with consistency and care. Something else our outreach and marketing subcommittee has come to is this awesome messaging campaign that responsibility.org has rolled out, just called Ask, Listen, and Learn. And they thought that was 3 great words around how parents should approach talking with their teenagers. So that's something to think about with theme. And here's our 4th. 91% of Longmeadow parents do not let their child drink at home. And this is a Talk They Hear You PSA from SAMHSA again. That could be linked to that. 8 out of 10 Longmeadow parents call ahead when their teen plans to attend a party or social gathering at a friend's house. You think so? Okay. Well, we'll talk about that too. So that's parents, a majority of parents
Surveyed.
calling ahead. And you know what? It's not, we didn't use the word call, so this is incorrect. We used communicate, so it might be text or something like that. Yeah, right? Because the phone call is like, does anyone even have a landline anymore? So there's that one, calling
but-
ahead.
The one time that it happened to me, when some people were coming to my house, the son had to call the mother, and he had to bring the phone to me, and I had to talk to the mother.
Number 6, studies show that having family dinner 3 or more nights a week is a significant protective factor for their teens. And this little video, this PSA down here was a campaign called Billion Dinners, and it's an organization. We can't see it. We can't see it, but it's an organization that they're familiar with how important it is to have family dinner across so many different behavioral protective factors, and substance use was one of them. And it's a really cool PSA about eat dinner with your kids as much as you can, because it's really important. And they have a lot of data too on if you don't have family dinner with your kids at all, then it's a significant risk factor. So that's something we wanted to highlight. Oh, and we made the conscious choice of this one not to include the Longmeadow data around how many parents did have dinner 3 or more nights a week, because the data wasn't amazing, but everyone recognized, like, this could just be great. Like, the more you're having dinner with your family, the better. It can't hurt to have a message that has evidence in it. I think this is the last one. Yep. 92% of Longmeadow parents want you to make the call, checking to see if they'll be home during a party or social gathering at your house. I don't know if the grammar is correct on that.
Is it their house?
Something about maybe it's
Yeah,
their house. And then there was this pretty awesome PSA around social host liability at the bottom. And it like totally walks you through the teenager asking, can we have a party? And the parents saying, it doesn't feel right. But then sort of warming to the idea of, we'll take the keys, we'll lock the keys up, that'll be safe. And then it sort of plays out on what actually ends up happening. And it's it's not a fear-based thing. It's just like, what happened wasn't planned for, and it wasn't safe, and law enforcement gets involved. Yeah, so that's an interesting PSA. We could actually watch that one. Those are the 7 messages. Let me find I wanted to show you a few of the PSAs, and then we can talk about, let's see if this is it. Yeah, let's watch this one. Then we can talk about theme and social norms messaging sort of in general. Let me play this from the beginning.
School graduation, a huge milestone in life, a time for celebration and conflict.
This is so unfair.
This is Jack, high school senior, soon to be college freshman.
It's a graduation party. Literally everyone's going.
And this is Dan and Cindy, Jack's normally very supportive parents.
It doesn't matter. That's 20 miles out of town.
100 high school kids drinking and on the road? That's not gonna work for us.
17-year-old Jack can see his social life crumbling before his eyes.
As long as you're in our house, you live by our rules. But I already told all of my friends that I'd be going.
Dan and
He's a
Cindy
little
were
whiny.
prepared for Jack's response, so they tried compromising.
Hey, what if you invited them all over here instead?
Yeah, right. Want a drink? They don't want to come here.
This gets Dan and Cindy thinking.
Jack and his friends are going to get their hands on alcohol somehow, and the next thing you know, they'd be on the roads.
If we're too strict about it now, he'll just rebel and binge drink in college.
What if he's the only one who's left out? He'll lose all his friends. I guess I just will do anything for graduation. Okay.
Oh.
What if we bought the beers and you stayed here? Would that work? Yeah, that sounds okay.
When Jack's friends arrive, house rules are clear.
That's right. Everyone's giving up their car keys.
Bolster my Kia.
And nobody's leaving until morning.
Just to be extra safe, Dan and Cindy lock those keys up so nobody gets any ideas. Dan and Cindy have a plan to keep these kids safe.
We'll be in our room
Or we can hear you.
if you need anything.
With Dan and Cindy in their bedroom, they feel they're close enough to know if something goes wrong, but far enough away to have a little peace and quiet. Unfortunately, they don't know about the extra friends coming from another party who sneak in through the backyard.
Go get the vodka. It's the back seat.
I'm gonna skip ahead.
Have already been, fortunately, even with other parents' approval, Dan and Cindy risk facing criminal charges for serving minors. Even the ones
A kid got into a car accident and got injured.
Dan and Cindy will receive lawsuit documents for damages and injuries that occurred in the car crash. Within 2 weeks, Dan and Cindy's insurance agent will deliver the bad news that insurance won't be covering Andrew's emergency room bill.
You broke the law. This isn't covered.
And within 3 weeks, Cindy, an account manager, will be in real danger of losing her job because her boss doesn't approve of employees getting alcohol from minors.
I don't approve.
Luckily, it doesn't have to be this way. Dan and Cindy could save all that money and grief by coming up with an event that doesn't involve alcohol, like a day at a theme park, a graduation camping trip, or volunteering to take Jack and his friends to a concert. Or maybe Jack's parents could simply explain to their nearly adult son that there are plenty of fun things to do that don't involve drinking and that there are a lot of risks involved with serving alcohol to minors.
Sound good? Yeah, Dad. Got it.
Thank you, Texas.
Seems convinced.
The teenager seems convinced. Man, he really did a 180.
Well, we
So
missed
that-
the whole section of the video where that might have happened. where
Yeah.
he changed his mind.
It was, things unraveled quickly. The party got bigger without anyone intending. The parents didn't know about the new kids who showed up, that kind of thing.
So that would be a long PSA for people to sit through.
That are, because you're thinking like 30, 60, 90-second PSAs?
Yes.
That kind of thing. Yeah, that's a 4-minute one. That is too long. Let me find,
Except they have time to watch a cat video on Facebook.
you're right,
You
which
know
is,
they're all watching them.
yeah, so we just need a little more cats in that video. This one's a minute long.
We long to be connected,
This is about the family dinner.
but is it possible among us all we somehow lost our way? That we, heads down, faces glowing, forgot what was around us. We run alone to priorities invented, meals only interrupting our point A's to point B's. Studies show that our waistlines are getting bigger, meals are becoming quicker, vices growing while relationships diminish because
That's
we
not
don't
good.
talk anymore. But what if it were different? What if we all tried a little harder? If sitting down with those we love over dinner was the most important part of the day. And no, we are not a world of Leave It to Beavers. Our families aren't tidy, our meals aren't perfect, but the times we share will always be worth it. So whoever your family, wherever your home,
They're drinking in like half of
let's come
the.
to the table a little more. Save the world, one dinner.
There's wine everywhere. There was beer on the beach. I'm already regretting this one. Yeah. For some reason, I didn't see all the alcohol in the
Are
last
they
one.
all 21? You know?
We should have checked for ID. Yeah. I love it. They're like, spend time with your friends. Cheers. Okay. So that's an idea that we could think about. All right, I'll show one more and then we're done.
Editing.
Sam's, the Talk They Hear You are interesting. Let me see if there's one. Yeah. Okay. And then I'll be done showing these with you. And you'll be.
Trisha's having a sleepover tonight. Can I go?
I wonder about Lucy's friends.
This is for younger kids.
What should I say? I know you're only 10, but one of these days a friend will offer you a drink. And alcohol at your age can lead to so many things. None of them good.
So can I go to the sleepover?
Lucy, I want you to promise me
I
something.
finished my homework.
Bigger promise. If there's any drinking, I want you to say, no thanks, not my thing.
Mom.
I promise you, your real friends won't care. Deal?
Sure.
Really?
I promise, Mom.
They really do hear you.
Did you pack a toothbrush?
For tips on how to start the talk, visit underagedrinking.samhsa.gov. A public service message from the Substance Abuse and Mental Health Services Administration.
Candy's more relevant.
Marijuana candy? Yeah. Well, also, since they released this one 3 years ago, they realized that you shouldn't have your kid promise you things like that because there's something about the promise and breaking the promise, and then they don't feel comfortable talking to you about it after. Anyways. So she should have just said, that's what I want to do. Yeah, like, that's what I'll try or whatever, instead of I promise. Anyways, that's the SAMHSA messaging. And... oh, here's like an example of something that could be on a postcard. Before she's too cool for mom to drop her off at school. She's a Williams student. So that's about prescription drug conversation. And then this is the Ask, Listen, Learn. This could be some information about talking with your middle schooler about the science of alcohol use and why it's important not to. This is just an example of some of the content that could be on the back of a postcard. Saturday errands, perfect moment to talk about alcohol. She goes to Glenbrook. Shopping break, a perfect moment to talk about. A lot of girls. Interesting. All right. I think that's all I got. And then, last but not least, this is what Greenfield did a few years ago for their parent social norms messaging. So they had banners around town. And as you can see, they would do like grabby numbers. So 9 out of 10 is like highlighted in large. So that's what people would see first and foremost. And then they'd read the message after the fact. So that was actually an example of the student social norms. And then in the background, if you can see, like there's 10 figures and 9 of them are supposed to be shaded in. So it's 9 out of 10. 7 out of 10 Greenfield parents and guardians have family dinner 3 nights or more a week. So there are 10 plates, 7 of them are shaded in. So that's an idea of like, this isn't like an image from town or anything like that, but it's like, they like the cartoony sort of icons because they think it's more social media-ish. Most Greenfield parents and guardians talk with their teens about the dangers of underage drinking, tobacco, marijuana, and other drugs. Yeah, so you want people to read the first part first. Most Greenfield parents and guardians talk with their teens, and the second part you hopefully get on the second or third or fourth time passing it by. There's a lot of information on it, but talk early, talk often, join the conversation. I don't know if all those words are swears. That would be great. 8 out of 10 Greenfield parents feel it's wrong for their teen to use marijuana, so it's a similar theme. Talk early and often with your teen about marijuana use.
The good thing about those are very quick. You can look at them in 2 seconds.
So it's easy to see and catch the message. Yep. Talk early, talk often with your teen about marijuana use. Yeah, so that's just an example of one district and what they did with this kind of data.
They used the most when they didn't think it was the most when they weren't really happy with the stats.
If it was like 45.6% or more, yeah, you can use the word most.
Yeah, it has to be over 50.
Oh, no, sorry, 49.6% or more.
Our data doesn't differentiate between males and female students.
We could, but we're not doing that in this campaign.
No, but I mean,
We have the ability to.
We have the ability to do it.
We have the ability to figure that out, to split it out, but we haven't done that for these data points, so, yeah. Why do you ask about?
No, I was just wondering when Paul pointed out that it was all females that they were doing. I was just thinking, is it the males who typically, do the binge drinking?
We do have
or
higher substance
females?
use amongst the male population, yeah. And which is typical. Most communities are like that.
Although our vaping is about even, it's pretty close,
Oh.
right? Like within a few percentage points
I think so.
for vaping.
Yeah. Any ideas about like, I think Long Meadow needs this kind of theme.
I like the talk often. I
Okay.
don't know if we can steal.
No, you can. I mean,
But
I actually.
They want you to.
But
Yeah.
with our life skills program coming down into the 3rd grade next year, hopefully, we'll have 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th. And I think they send things home from the program to parents, and I wonder if we can kind of tie in the campaign, whatever the postcard is, home with that message that they're getting at the schools in their life skills program.
That's an awesome idea.
So I think we're trying to get kids earlier, right, about all of this stuff.
Yeah.
And it's 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, and 8th, right?
Next year is going to be 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th.
Whoa,
and
3rd
8th.
grade? That's so cool.
And we'll do something in 2nd, but life skills doesn't go down to 2nd, so,
We'll make something up.
yeah.
And who coordinates that life skills mailing to the parents?
The teachers.
Okay.
So Erin Caprera in elementary, and then Philippa and Kathy R. And,
Erin Capitosto?
yeah.
Capitosto.
Yeah, Erin Caprera hasn't been Erin Caprera in about 15 years.
Oh, that's her older
Yeah,
last name.
Erin
Okay.
Capitosto, yes, sorry.
No idea what you're talking about.
I know. I was like, we have a new teacher. That's so exciting.
I call
Can't
her
wait to meet
that
her.
all the time, too. Sorry, Erin.
Is it her 4th kid that? And you're like, I think she's a Capitosto.
I would agree, though, the more you can tie in the message, it just reinforces the same message. And I still think that any of the step-up meetings, even the kindergarten, I don't think you want to scare them, but at the same time, talk early, talk often. You do it again from elementary to middle school, and you do it from middle school to high school. That's when you're gonna have the rapt attention of the parents.
That's, you're saying as far as parents talking with their own kids.
I'm talking about us getting the message to the parents.
Oh, okay. About talking early and often. Yeah, there's been so much stuff coming out the last few years around, like you can teach your, preschooler consent, which is like, can I give you a hug? Like that kind of thing. It's not about.
But if you introduce them to that concept, talk early, talk often, then they get a postcard that has talk early, talk often, and another message on it. They're going to remember that, and if they do that, they have 2 or 3 meetings, they're going to know exactly what it correlates to.
So you think we should start even earlier than 3rd grade, as far as?
I would do the kindergarten parents. They want as much information as possible.
Is that true, Sue?
And I know it's scary to talk about something like this, but if we're seeing the vaping even start to trickle down to the elementary schools,
yeah,
We struggle with these
Scaring
kinds of
them.
messages at celebration type events,
Mhm.
step up days, things like that. We have done social media stuff, and so.
But the step up for the parents, like the step up night.
Yeah.
So like if they just did the middle school
Yep,
step up nights,
yep.
they could have done like 5 minutes about this at the step up night.
I agree.
Because then they did a separate social media night, but this wasn't covered at all.
And there was
in
probably
Step Up.
way more people at Step Up. than
I was just going to say, do you
Right.
get the same parents, or is it definitely different?
And
Social
maybe
media
some
versus
social
step.
media.
There's a core group of parents that really attend almost every kind of evening event, and then it's, in the spring, it's just, everyone's so busy running around, so
But
it
he's
wasn't
also
really
right,
well
for
attended.
like the high school, it's the sports night in the
Yeah.
fall.
Yeah.
That's when you have to get all the messaging out to the parents.
And that
there
was
is a good
difficult.
job with the, with prescription drugs at that.
Right,
Okay.
and last year Terry and I sat outside.
Yep. And they did make an announcement at the very beginning. The only problem with that night, and I agree with you, I think it's a great time to capture it, is they have so much information, and then people just want to get to the breakout so they can go to the teams. But again, the more you reinforce the message and you keep it brief, keep it simple, the more people are going to recognize it when they get a piece of mail or they see it on TV or whatever.
Although Terry and I handed out a lot of
Brochures.
and then we walked through the auditorium to see how many were left, and there weren't that many
No.
left.
So people took them home. When is Step Up? What does that mean, and when is that?
So
Done.
You already missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm not thinking this year. I'm
It's a
just-
transition between the grade levels, so from 5th to 6th, 8th to 9th.
So it's like for every.
Was it April?
Students and parents both step up.
Okay.
Yeah,
But
kind of.
it's the
It's like an
parents
informational
that go-
session.
It's the parents that go to the evening session, and then the kids have their own session at the school
They come
during the day.
Kids do.
Parents have any. It's every grade or just the
Just
ones
the changing buildings.
transitioning buildings.
Although we did the athletic night, right? That,
I don't
and
think
that's,
they- do they
that's
have
in
a-
September.
They have one for the freshman
Fall
parents.
sports, they
don't
do have
they?
one.
Oh, fall
Parents.
sports night.
Right, but
They-
they do have one for the freshman parents at the end
For
of
the
the
eighth
school year,
graders.
like 8th
Right.
graders.
And all this stuff happens at the, except for the fall sports meeting, happens at the end of the school year.
Correct.
Okay, I need to get on that next year, huh?
Correct. But I think the other reason why that's important is because, as I've discussed with Shelley recently, based on what happened at the middle school, the parents aren't equipped. Like, they don't know what to say to their kids, like, when something does happen. Like,
Mhm.
when they catch their kids doing something, they don't know what to say to them, especially when you're not expecting it at such a young age. Like, I think when it's high school, a lot of parents are expecting to have to deal with something with their high schooler. But when you're finding it happening in middle school and in elementary school for some of these kids, the parents don't even know what to say to them. So they like make threats that don't even make any sense, that they're not gonna be able to follow through.
You're not gonna be able to drive your car.
Right.
I don't have a car.
I'm 12. Yeah. SAMHSA has done a great job with the Talk They Hear You app, and it's a really weird, clunky app, but super useful, practical tool for parents to download, and then it helps them practice conversations. So it's like you create your own avatar. So that's something we could put on the postcards as well. Maybe just one postcard just goes out about that, the Talk They Hear You app, and downloading it. It's interesting. Yeah, you have your own kind of cartoon avatar, and you literally practice conversations based on how the teenager that is supposed to be your kid responds, and you get to practice. So that's something, and that's an evidence-based tool that they've developed. It's not like perfect, but it's something to practice before stuff starts hitting the fan.
But I think that message is a very good one. If we say we do decide to use that talk early, talk often, and then you say, but what do I say? And you just have that, and then we have our website, or go to our website to find out more, and then you have the PSA, the public service announcement, or something that people can actually say, that's interesting.
For more information.
And they would click. I forgot to ask, you had one of the 7 up there, and one of the reasons we chose one of those 7 is because of a statistic that you had about how much kids actually do hear what you're saying. Parents think they didn't hear anything. There was a person.
Oh, it's the first one. It says, the PSA says 80% of kids want the parents, or like think the parents should have a say in their whatever.
Right. Yeah.
That one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Around 80% of children feel their parents should have a say.
Sorry.
In whether they
We can't read that. It's just
in whether or not
the
they
white,
drink.
the white
Yeah.
at the bottom. No.
Oh shoot! Yeah, you're right.
It's on there.
I can't.
I'll zoom in.
Yeah.
She's under 20.
I thought that was a chair rail.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go.
There we go.
Around 80% of children feel their parents should have a say in whether or not they drink. And that's students reporting that, and that's SAMHSA data. There's an example of some of the avatars I was talking about. They're like, hey, where are you going tonight? And you're like, why are they moving their hands? They're just talking to their teenager. And so sometimes he doesn't even have a hand. But that's, yeah, thank you for catching that, Monica. I totally forgot that was part of it. And we did talk about that, Terry. So that would be prominent in that messaging campaign. That kids want you to talk with them. Yeah.
Well, I wonder if we could play, as part of our PSA campaign, play a little snippet of that we take from one of us using the app, like, so they can see what this app looks like when it's used, and demo it,
They
even
might
if it's
not want
a
it
PSA
then.
or at one of these transition nights, just put it up as a little teaser to show parents this is out there, and make it fun like that, and then maybe, if you don't know what to say, here are some ideas, and there's a place you can go.
You're not alone. Yeah. If you don't know what to say or where to start, you're not alone. And so a film of a Longmeadow parent. So you're talking about new content?
I don't know if I exactly,
Very
I wasn't
exciting.
picturing us
Original.
on film, I was picturing actually just
you.
of the phone,
Oh.
Like a
video
screen
clip
recording.
of the phone.
What about like a hologram of a parent? Being like,
Of Will I Am helping a parent struggle through using the app. I think that's an awesome idea. It might be one of their PSAs to advertise the app
Well, maybe
itself.
they've already created it. Yeah,
Yeah,
we'll
but
have
I'm going to look that up. That's such a cool idea. So yeah, exactly. You're not alone. There's no wrong way to start the conversation.
Mm.
And messaging like that.
Have you done a night like that where you basically tell parents some examples of what they can say?
We did have we brought in a clinician,
motivational
the motivational interviewing guy, yeah.
And he doesn't tell you what to
So-
say or very much. People are careful with, because
It's
so
an
much of it's
approach. It's more of an
values-based.
approach, yeah.
So it's really hard. So yeah, it was basically an approach to listening. It wasn't really about what to tell your child as far as rules, consequences, that kind
Right.
of thing.
It was about getting them to come around to the logical point of view, right? Was it about getting
No,
them
really,
to-
Sue, it was about meeting them where they're at, and then yeah, you're right. No,
Not
it's
how
about,
I read it.
it's about assessing their readiness for change. Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Although.
Getting them to
it's more of a
come
coach-
around to work.
We did do that, and we had a lot of people sign up for it, but
We did.
Yeah.
not very many people showed
A
up.
dozen people.
That's
So it's
been
really
one of the issues, is trying to connect with parents, and that's why I think those step-up days, you have to go
They're
where
already
the
there.
parents are, because
Mhm.
they're not always gonna come to us.
That's so smart, yeah.
Yeah, I know. I think the going with the soundbite culture, let's pepper a lot of brief little messages
Dosage.
all over, and yeah, I have other ideas too, but I'm not
wait till.
Why don't you wait till your little
Appropriate.
breakout group?
I'm gonna wait till the appropriate time.
Awesome. Okay.
So theme, can I bring up a?
Please,
theme
yeah.
that
Let's
mentioned to me?
transition to theme.
One of the things Paul mentioned to me was maybe using Longmeadow images, so it's local to us. When we, like theirs was infographics, Greenfield, which is it's very generic, but it is easy to read, which is the other side of it. But we thought of, what was your idea? It was sidewalk, maybe using like.
Everyone, since I've started working here, everyone's like, "Oh, I just love the sidewalks," and like everyone loves the sidewalks. So like, and your husband did a great job taking pictures of the sidewalks that are now on our website. There's a couple sidewalks that are featured, but they on the front page of our website. But people love the sidewalk, so something about showing a sidewalk in Longmeadow with the social norm message at the top, and sort of the image of that's local, that's something that's special about Longmeadow, and then people can, you're walking forward into that good, healthy behavior.
I think you're getting way too deep. I'm telling you, people are
Terry,
going to shuffle through their
this is who I
mail
am.
within seconds.
They're gonna be like,
Well,
why
I
do
know,
I have
but
a
that's what's
picture?
great about messaging, right? Is it's the stuff that's happening that they're not even realizing. So at the end,
Subliminal
2 years later,
Subliminal signs.
2 years later, they're gonna be like, wait a second, that was McKinley Street. It's gorgeous. But you're right. You don't want to get too
Well, if it is a
complicated.
local image, are you more likely to stop at it? I don't know. I mean, I don't know the answer to that, but I do wonder, like, if it's not, if I look at something and I think it's personalized, I'm more likely to stop at it than, like, if it's a generic mass mailing from, wherever. So if we do use recognizable Longmeadow images, I think it could catch people's eye a little bit longer. You don't
What
have to.
could those images be? What says Longmeadow? Like, or what says parenting in Longmeadow?
Probably
Mr.
a
Potato
sports field.
Head.
Yes.
Mr. Potato
What's
Head
that?
that's a serious one.
Yeah.
What does that mean? What is?
He's
am
in
I-
the park.
In the
up
park
street.
at the playground.
That's where he lives.
Yes.
Oh my gosh,
Sometimes.
that's too
That's
funny.
a really good one. Though.
That's
I would
good.
And then you could have a
look
bubble
at that.
coming out of his mouth, like he's telling you stuff. And then the PSAs could just be like, "Hi, parents.
Wait, can we do the
Did you
dinner
know that you
one?
should be talking with your
Can we
kids
do
about
the
drinking?"
dinner one with Mr. Potato?
Can we do what?
Please.
Who's coming to dinner?
Study show.
Where's Mrs. Potato Head?
Is there a Mrs. or just a Mister?
Just a
Just a
I didn't mean to
There,
gender
there's
his
only a
relationship.
Mr.
I'm sorry.
There's only a Mister, but on Toy Story,
That's a really
there's
good
Mrs.
one. Yeah.
Well, and also in the real world.
Now, is there is?
And again, just to be clear, this is
That's not the
televised.
real world.
He's the nicest man I've ever met.
Is there copyright about
Liz, you seem
using
to have
Mr.
an idea.
Potato Head
A
image?
lot of,
Like,
I would say Mr. Potato Park is a place to go drinking for kids. So I don't know if you want to.
Oh, that's
You're like
true.
giving them ideas.
This is where you should go drink. Well, this is a message for parents.
Right.
No.
So maybe if the
Look
parents
at
start
this
drinking
card
there,
for
then
your
we will have a
kids.
problem.
When
I
I'm
like-
going through my mail, I'm at my mailbox, there's a big stack of junk.
Mhm.
And I don't know that I'm gonna care that there's a Longmeadow sidewalk or whatever. I just want a quick
Yeah.
message.
I just want the bill.
Because I'm gonna throw
And
it in
any personal
recycling.
letters.
Well, the good
really
thing about
fast.
Mr. Potato Head is he has color in it, color grabs. Because if it's just a sidewalk, it's gray and green.
Mm-hmm.
You know, but Mr. Potato Head has the nose and the hat and stuff.
I really like the idea.
Colorful.
There's something about that because it's such a family-friendly space. Are there other places or things that are super family-friendly in Longmeadow that are like particular?
There's things that parents would
Yeah,
relate
like
to.
is there like an entrance to the Meadows or Bliss Park or like something like people go to?
Is the Indian in Springfield or in Longmeadow?
Yeah.
I think it's technically Springfield. Yeah.
Probably like a
A
sports
lot of
field.
people use the
A lot of
sign
people
entering,
Yeah.
entering Long Meadow sign.
It's a nice one.
The library
Yeah, but
uses
I'm
it.
like Chris,
I mean,
it's like,
that's-
what am I gonna look at when I
Yeah.
go through?
You got about 3
Something
seconds of their
controversial.
attention.
Yeah.
What's the hierarchy?
You would stop at those delinquent stamps, wouldn't you?
What about a scratch and sniff sticker on it?
Like make a scratch and sniff
Because they'd be
postcard.
What should it smell like?
It smells like potatoes.
That's probably the most progressive idea I've ever heard about campaigns.
I like it.
What about making it stink? I mean, really stink.
I know a
That's an
few
awesome
for
idea.
in town.
Actually, I'll look into that.
I know.
There's
What-
lots of ideas.
What did you say? Loose cigarettes?
No, she.
Oh.
That was hard.
Smell like cigarettes.
No.
Depending on the message, we could have a different
it-
smell.
The one
going
about
with the
vaping,
message,
yeah.
right?
It could smell like mango or creme brulee. But But they might make scratch and sniff postcard, which would be interesting. This is what we have to do to get people's attention. So Chris, you want people's attention to be grabbed. So the data point being that big fat 9 out of 10 Longmeadow, boom, that'll probably be something. But then as far as imagery,
I wouldn't
You don't
focus
care?
so much on the image.
okay,
Because you literally have
a couple seconds.
2 seconds.
2 or 3 seconds before.
And then they'll see it in an email from their child's principal, which they will also read. They'll see it on the Starbucks community board. They'll see it in Harvest Bakery's community board. Yeah. There's got to be some sort of image.
Can we do something with the Longmeadow News? Are we allowed to
Yeah, yeah.
put it in Longmeadow News?
Marge was saying that they would run like a monthly column about whatever
But I want
topic.
the
ad space.
the ad.
Yeah, we can do
And
that.
the other thing is the reminder.
Mm-hmm.
I think you're.
How many
have to
people
pay for
read the
that.
reminder or the Longmeadow News?
I think your older population, your grandparents and things, read the papers, newspapers, or Facebook.
So that's true.
Ad space with
Yeah.
Facebook's super affordable too, so that's easy. Other just thematic images or color schemes or
I
things like
that
that.
one that has the head where it's like, look, hear, listen, whatever.
Ask, learn, ask,
Yeah, that
learn,
three
learn.
head
Ask,
one.
listen,
I think
learn.
that would be a decent one for in the mail. You might look at that.
Something
Because it's
simple.
not really.
It is super simple.
You almost have to brand it, so as soon as they
Yeah.
see that, they know what it.
Right.
Mhm.
And then what about, the other thing I thought of is when we have all these, you said before the school committee meetings, like have the image up also before, on the big screen in the auditorium, before any event in the auditorium, have it just up there instead of a high school.
I think that's a great idea.
Like an ad.
So
Yeah.
you can, if you're just sitting there waiting for something to start, you're staring at it.
Right.
God, did does the school have the screen down for stuff? Like,
They do for Parents' Night because they show slides of information.
have the slides running in the beginning, that's a really good
yes.
The whole series, you can.
Yeah, like if you
the
have
whole
just like
series.
a set.
And that Parents' Night stuff is
It's
in
like
the fall.
previews at the movies.
Yeah.
Like, you don't want to watch them, but you do.
Right.
And
They'll
we
have
could
trivia
them
questions.
Up on the monitors, in the lobby during Parents' Nights even, you just have a monitor in the lobby that's just scrolling through them. That's good. I would love to see them at sporting events somehow.
Yeah, it's been really.
I don't know how, but.
Parks and Rec can't have any signage.
What about at Strobel? Don't they have banners on their baseball fields?
They turned us
what are
down,
you-
but they turned us down, right?
Oh, they did?
Yeah, they said.
Shelley, what would you like to see at sporting events?
Well, I think whatever our message is for that month, like pepper it at the sporting events that month too. Like wherever the ticket booth is, have something there for wherever all the parents have to pass through, or it's in the bathrooms at the event that, and we change them out when we change out the message.
Parks and Rec won't let you put anything on the field?
That's what we
Well,
were
the
told.
problem
Yeah, we
is-
can't advertise any.
Problem is if you allow someone to put up one message, then other people start asking, why can't I get
I've been
mine?
putting signs for Leaf everywhere
Well,
without permission for a
That's
very
the way to
long
do it, though.
time.
You're guerrilla.
Forgiveness, yes.
Guerrilla advertising.
So we'll ask Candace to.
And I've seen those everywhere.
Exactly.
Yeah. Actually, I was thinking about those signs, thinking, Leaf puts stuff up everywhere.
Right? That's what we were thinking.
Now I know why. All right. Ask, listen, learn. Before big school events on the projection screens, an awesome idea. Okay, we can move on, and then we'll do breakout groups for the last
Okay. So
15,
was
20
that
minutes of the meeting.
Like just some consensus on using Ask, Listen, Learn as our brand? So it's an image that will repeat throughout the whole series?
Do we prefer
Do
that
that.
one or talk early, talk often?
Talk early, talk often? There's what? Talk early, talk often, talk they hear you, or Ask, Listen, Learn? There are three that we could borrow from, right? But
Mhm.
Are those all
legally.
images too?
They
No,
all-
there's just
They all have a
slogans.
little slogan. Their slogan with, I think, a logo attached to it too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So do we have a preference for one of them, or?
Is there an image for the talk early, talk often?
There isn't. That's something that was made up just amongst prevention people.
Well, we can use that as the theme.
Yeah.
We can do that and then do like pictures of Mr. Potato Head, like the playgrounds. the schools. That's
So you
enough-
like talk early,
that's
talk
enough
often.
color. Yeah.
Over talk they hear you. Over ask, listen, learn.
I do.
But maybe with the same
know.
sort of logo style that Ask, Listen, Learn had. Something really catchy, really
Yeah.
simple color scheme.
But maybe one of the, I'm sorry,
No?
maybe one of the slogans under talk, early talk often can be ask, listen, and learn. Right.
Yeah, why not?
Maybe that's a month, one of our months.
Yeah, and we can like switch it up a little bit because it's the same idea, right? Okay, cool.
Sometimes a community has an event. Fortunately, Long Meadow hasn't had anybody killed or something bad happen at graduation or any of the kids overdosing or, whatever, that you can build a campaign around. I don't know. We don't want anyone to die, but I'm wondering whether we could be alert for any event that happens in surrounding communities that we could relate to. I don't know, build it in as.
Shelley did something amazing with her Students Against Destructive Decisions group in the spring, which was taking teenagers that were involved in marijuana-impaired just marijuana?
Just marijuana.
Marijuana-impaired driving incidents, and is it their mugshots or just their like?
We had.
For Massachusetts.
For the person who was the driver, no, they weren't all from Massachusetts,
Oh, okay.
but there was one very high-profile case from Massachusetts. But we put the mugshot, or it wasn't always a mugshot, but a headshot of the driver, and then also a headshot of each person who was killed. And they were all fatal crashes with OUI marijuana, just marijuana alone, and they were all teen drivers.
There's a little bio underneath.
So,
there.
and,
they
but there
put
is
that up.
an Eastern Mass case that is still working its way through the courts, where the 4 people died, and one, the driver is the only one who survived, and it was
It makes it
prom
more
week.
real to people.
So,
the
the
driving while you're
students
texting,
like it. I mean, they wanted to do that
again.
campaign, so it was their idea. It was their.
There's a
idea
time
to
and a
do it,
place for
so-
that because
Yeah.
you don't want to do the scare tactic stuff.
Right.
You want to avoid fear-based messaging. There can be potentially a 2 to 3 week window where it might affect behavior change, a message like that. So that's why they do it in the foyer, outside the auditorium, a week before prom and graduation.
Because you hit that high risk time.
Because you want students just doing that extra.
But I will say, one
Whoa.
of the cool things that happened was I was teaching classes in the 5th grades last week, and I had 2 different 5th graders tell me a story from the foyer. Like,
Oh,
I read a
5th graders?
story, yeah, like I read a story about, and they told me about a case that they read about from our display. Like, not knowing that I was connected with the display at all, but we were talking about different substances and risks, and they knew that marijuana was dangerous to drive with because of those stories. So I was like, we weren't thinking elementary students
Smoking.
at all, but they were here for some event, and
Smoking tobacco, their whole thing on fear and
Oh, yeah, with the missing the voice box and everything.
everything. Deaths, texting was the one where they were getting car accidents and everything, but there's definitely been things where they use fear
smoking
tactics.
kills.
Yeah, I'm not a
It's
huge.
impactful and it gets your attention.
It's not like, it doesn't have long-term behavior change for teenagers. That's at least the evidence that has been produced at SAMHSA. But there is a potential 2 to 3 week window, if it's an effective message, that it can alter their behavior. But it can grab their attention and wake them up a little bit for
If we
a
have,
short period of time.
if we have those 3 different messages, do we want to vote on which one that we want to use, or do?
It sounds
talk early,
like-
talk often, ask, listen, learn, and what was the third?
Talk, they hear you.
Talk to hear.
Is there any harm in like
Using all 3?
using all 3 in some capacity? Because there's going to be 7 messages.
I like having a consistent.
Talk early, talk often seems
I
to be the
agree.
consensus. Is
I
that
think we should
correct?
have one that carries through all of them.
Right.
But you
I
can-
agree
you
with
can
that.
pepper the
You need
other
to be
ones in there.
consistent.
You could
one
have it be part of the
consistent one.
subtext, I suppose, but I think having that one, using one image that's on every single
Mhm. Yeah, it's a
card
brand.
and one, making it a brand.
I agree with that.
So, we stumbled upon it. The sheep became the brand for the social norms
That was just
campaign,
a dumb
I think,
idea I
which was
had,
just,
yeah.
it just like morphed, but that became the image. That was something.
Any strong opinions against using talk early, talk often? Which fortunately is not trademarked either.
I actually like that one because I think that's sort of a universal message that we're trying to do. Ask, Listen, Learn was something that Patty and I found at one of the meetings we went to, and we liked that, but I think that Talk Early, Talk Often almost tells you what you need to do. Ask, Listen, Learn, you're not quite sure what that relates to.
It could be science.
Yeah.
Yeah. Could be poking around with ants outside with your kid. Ask, listen, and learn. It could be a message for kids, not necessarily parents. So
Well, it's kind of a strategy, right, for
Yeah.
talking early and talking often.
Yes.
I guess.
And yeah, it doesn't tell you how to do it, but it's the message is,
Yeah.
hey, get started. It's okay.
Yeah.
It'll be all right. All right. You can't say anything else, Terry.
I don't know. Do we want to vote? I don't know if
Yeah.
other
Are we in
people feel
agreement?
strongly about some of the other ones.
All in favor of talk early, talk often?
Aye.
Aye, okay.
Monica
Okay.
is the only one who wants it, so it will go through. She's a very powerful person. Great. Well, I wanted to jump
All
ahead.
opposed?
Yeah, right.
No. Okay.
Nay.
All right, we're good. We're good.
Pass this down to Chris, will you? Give it all the way down. So this is a bowl filled with all of the people who filled out our parent survey, and what I would like, and that shared their email address with us. I'd like each of us to pick one name from the bowl, and they're going to win a $25 gift card to the restaurant or food establishment of their choice in Longmeadow.
Wow. Very
Isn't that
nice.
fun?
What do we have to do?
You
So
can
how
pick a
many
name
of these
too.
are we picking?
Just, we're picking 10.
10.
Do I pick one?
You can pick one. Yep.
What if it's me?
If it's you, then congratulations.
Oh my gosh, Chris Rich.
That's all that's in the bowl.
Of course, we don't really know who they are based on
You,
their email.
you can name the
address.
email address.
Someone Rapochi.
Oh my
MF
god.
Rapochi.
Oh, cool. What do you got?
Karen Beck.
All right. Well, hand those to me when we're all done.
This is a big public drawing.
It's a very
Televised-
exciting deal.
Televised
Yeah.
drawing, right?
first word? Our first name?
Karen.
Okay.
You doing okay, Terry?
because if
Yes,
they're
I
watching.
have RN Puzo.
Exactly. Yeah. This is our chance to let people know. What is it?
RN Puzo.
That's a
A
different
great pronunciation. Italian. What do you got, Sue?
I got no clue.
You pass it down.
It's
Shelley, we don't
Laura.
pick.
Laura somebody. I don't think we should say tell
Oh, you don't think so?
Me email addresses on no.
You don't think-
Doesn't- it's
Say a name.
Laura.
It doesn't. Yeah, Laura.
I got closecommunity.org.
No, you don't. Pick another one. Pick another
That
one.
was mine.
That's,
Pick another one. Pick another one.
You take this one. I'll take it.
I take this, okay.
This is riveting television.
This is Sarah.
Don't say their last names.
No, I won't.
And then Monica, Liz got one. Liz, if you can pick. So now we have 1, 2, 3,
I have
4,
Hebrew.
5, 6, 7, 8.
I have Susan M.
Okay, cool. Monica and Liz, can you pick one more each?
Oh my god. Riveting.
I was wondering what the bowl was for.
I know. Well, it's actually Sue's.
Blue Fox
Sue's
M.
doggy bowl.
A. Colby. I mean,
Oops.
A. Colby.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Pass them on down. Congratulations, all the winners who don't know who you are. Out
We
in
will
public.
notify you. We will
Yeah.
notify you.
I will reach out to these folks and let them know, and they get to choose.
Transition to breakouts for a few minutes.
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna do it at the end of the meeting,
Okay.
which is 8. The end of the meeting is 8:30. But then we had a few, just a few more things. We're gonna message, a few more quick things. Okay, before we break out into little groups, we have some partners that we are sharing these campaigns messages. For example, St. Mary's and First Church have bulletins where they can share our messages. Starbucks has a community board. The schools are amazing and let us share a ton of resources with the parents in town. So are there other community partners that we're sort of not thinking about as far as sharing a message?
Willie Ross.
The JCC.
Willie Ross we got. We're working with them.
Okay.
JCC.
We're doing an event in the fall with them
Oh,
for
great.
parents.
That's
What's
wonderful.
that? I'm so sorry, Patty. Monica, did you have something to say?
I'm all set.
How about you, Liz? Shelley?
Armadas.
Oh, she did have something to say.
Oh, Armada's do they have a community board?
I think so.
Oh, cool.
And then-
Or,
No, they don't anymore.
Yeah.
No, they don't care.
Yeah, they don't.
or are there, before we get to Patty, are there a couple of places that we could print, some communities do you print a sticker and it goes on every pizza box in town or something like that.
The reminder
Like-
does that.
The reminder does that. Like on pizza boxes.
No, on their papers.
Yes.
On their-
Oh, I see what you mean.
I've never
So we
had
can
the
put a
Reminders
sticker on the
pizza, but it
reminder.
sounds great. So in the reminder, it does ads in their paper. Is that what
No,
you're saying?
stickers. Is that what you mean?
No, you can literally, they'll put a sticker on the bag or on the newspaper.
Okay. Okay.
Because, I mean, I know they're getting an ad about that size, it's 300, 350.
Mm-hmm.
Press releases are free. I'm just guessing the sticker's less.
Stickers. I've ordered like a custom roll of stickers, and it's like, yeah, a couple $100 for like 100 something stickers. But it's for as far as our marketing budget, it could totally work. I'm just trying to think where would we stick them? Like, would we want to do, you know, the couple of places in town where you can buy liquor? Would you want to do on every single brown bag that people get? Do you want to do pizza boxes?
Well, I think what she was saying is if we get that roll of stickers, we put it on the reminder, and the reminder goes out to thousands of households.
Yeah,
what you're
you
saying?
probably, so either, what you can do is either pay them to put them on.
Yeah.
Or.
To a certain area code, zip code,
Right,
which would be
only Long Meadow,
Meadow.
they separate it.
Right.
Or you can have the paper boy do it.
Oh.
They get an extra like 2 cents a paper.
Oh. Do you know, then they have limitations for the size, I imagine, of the sticker and stuff like that? Because, like, they can't just cover stuff.
Probably not. I mean, the stickers I've seen are that big. I just
Okay.
know because we deliver newspapers.
So it might just be a data point and then a website.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might be pretty basic. Okay, but pay the reminder to use stickers. That's a potential. Thank you. Other ideas like that I'm not thinking of?
Actually, did you get your idea? Patty's not going to say her.
Oh, Patty, please, I'm so sorry.
She
What
said
is
that.
it?
She said the JCC.
Oh, yeah. Oh.
Several times. I got you.
Monica, did you say the JCC?
That is such a good idea.
I just wish someone had brought it up. What about the JCC? Like, do they have events or places to put
Yes.
stickers like that?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little more?
No.
I'm not. Monica, can you tell me a little more about what Patty might be thinking?
Okay, who is it that is the sector rep? at
Sonia
the
Wilk.
JCC? So
Mhm.
she'll know and
Okay.
how we can get it out there, because I'm not sure, but they also send out quarterly or biannual newsletters, and I'm not sure if.
Like hard copy?
Yeah, hard
Oh,
copy.
okay.
And, but I'm not sure if they do advertising on that.
Okay.
I'm not sure. And then the senior center also has some.
And again,
a
just to
newsletter.
clarify, we're asking about these places to do what?
To host our messages. So, like,
Okay, so these messages that we're
we want them to
talking
go to
about,
parents.
We'll make one that they can put up.
Yeah, whatever 7 final edits we have for each of these messages, we'll have some sort of smaller, condensed sticker version of it to slap on something.
Parks and Rec sends out,
Yes.
hands out their sign, whatever, you know what I'm.
They have their huge they have their brochures.
Thank you. Yeah, they send home the
Brochures.
brochures.
Yeah.
The
And
spring
then-
and fall
And then
lists.
Leaf has a mailing that goes out to the entire town, and they do charge for an ad in it.
That's
but
okay. When does that go out?
It's in the process of changing, but I think it went out in like March.
Okay.
Do each of these places that we've listed always do a hard copy, or do they also do e-blasts?
Leaf does a hard copy, but they also do e-blasts for, like, right around the gala, they do e-blasts.
Which doesn't
but I don't
cost
know.
anything for us to put that same message. in an
It'd be nice
electronic
if,
message.
if we could at Leaf have some kind of a, something.
Presents?
Mr.
Is there?
Padilla.
There's like drinking at that event.
There is drinking
For
at the gala,
adults.
yes.
Okay. For adults, thank you.
Well, it's it is at the country club, and it's an adult event, and.
I guess it's sometimes hard to rectify.
But they have the gala, but then they also have like the phone-a-thon, like direct mail campaign, so that's what I'm
Oh,
suggesting.
yeah.
you do with the
Okay, that's a great idea. Those are both great ideas. I just wish someone had mentioned like the JCC or something.
And
Um,
then, no, enrichment is, I think enrichment is actually separate from Parks and Rec.
The high school enrichment.
Yeah, so we get
Oh, that's
emails
true.
from enrichment, and then you also get, the elementary schools get handed like flyers from the enrichment, Long Meadow enrichment.
Is Enrichment,
Which is
is that a
separate.
summer program?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's separate from Parks and Rec, but I know that they,
Was that, what's her face's program?
Stacy. Her
Stacy,
office is
she's
right
awesome,
next door,
yeah.
yeah.
She's my neighbor. Parks and
And
Recs.
also I know like the principals all have an email that goes out, like Center School has a weekly email.
Mhm.
That they could do a blurb.
and the PTOs
That's
and the
PTO.
PACs.
Mhm. And the boosters.
Well, the superintendent really is a big supporter of ours. I don't know, we don't have the principals do it as well, though, do we?
No, we've just been going through the superintendent's office, because he's such a, it's just like a huge reach immediately as opposed to the building by building. But building by building, we can also do.
Why not
because-
reinforce it?
Yeah.
I think as a parent, I read a lot more about what's specifically going on
At your school.
Center. I read that Center School email every week.
Yeah, and
I
I-
don't always read it.
Chris has a great point, because as, your kids age out of elementary school, you become less connected to the school. And so middle school, you're less connected, but then high school, you're really less, unless you get something from the superintendent or the principal.
Interesting.
So what about the physicians' offices, I would say?
Yeah.
Pediatricians, but even just, that's when people have downtime, right, when they're waiting for an appointment. So there's I don't know what's going up at the Four Corners. There's lots of, offices there, but just, pepper that area with them, I think. There's several pediatricians in town, Pioneer Valley Pediatrics.
We just met with Pioneer Valley.
And left a ton of resources with them.
How about the orthodontist?
Oh, that's a-
Yeah, orthodontist.
How many orthodontists are there?
Dentist.
Oh, there's so many.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a
But
cool
there's
idea.
one right at the shops that a lot of people go to, right?
Yanni's a good one too.
And then we can specialize in prescription drug
There's those three
prevention.
medical buildings on Dwight Road that are filled with doctors and
Is that technically East
clinicians
Longmeadow?
and therapists. That's Longmeadow.
Longmeadow? Okay.
Do you know what we haven't tapped into a lot is the local psychologists, especially the youth psychologists. It'd be interesting to have them fill out some surveys.
Yeah. Not including names, but yeah,
That was the
that'd be great.
biggest concern of the pediatricians is
The lag.
time delay to get
Yeah.
their patients to psychologists, counselors. They said the delay is terrible.
Cool. Okay. Any other big ideas, large ideas before we jump ahead?
The realtors all have big mailing lists.
They do. What did
I
I?
don't know if they'd be interested.
We've been trying since I've started here, connect with like a realtor organization that sort of.
Board of Realtors, Springfield Board of Realtors.
Yeah, but they weren't as interested for some reason. We're in doing a Lock It Up campaign around prescription drugs, because that was such a specific message for that part of the community. And the Board of Realtors was like, that's not really something we want to do. So I don't know why. But then Longmeadow doesn't have like a central group that does that sort of work, which is a bummer. But yeah, and now I'm thinking like there's a couple of business organizations like
What about Big Y, the grocery store?
they are really tight around what they allow for
Or like
messages.
gym, like health tracks.
Yeah.
Or like gyms, or I know my gym has that is in East Longmeadow, but.
So using like gym community boards, that kind of thing? Okay.
The Big Y, I don't know what this Big Y does, but the East Longmeadow Big Y has those TVs that run.
Yeah, this
You know,
one has it.
Does it?
Like at the
Are they
deli.
community services or are those paid ads?
They talk about
Cooking.
a lot of produce.
Yeah, right.
I could say word for word that one at the deli counter.
But I have seen
and they get the kale
advertisements as
and the
well.
tomatoes.
Yeah.
Probably
That's a good video though.
Probably the
Yeah, I remember it.
logistics-
Yeah.
Probably the logistics of this would be hard, but I have a guy that cuts my hair, and he says everybody consults with him about their problems. And I think if we took a handful of brochures to everybody who does our hair and said, would you just keep these on your, counter?
A hairdresser
And hair and
campaign?
nails.
I'd have to actually
That's a
get to
good
the
idea.
salon,
hair and
salon and
I
barber
think that's a
shops.
good connection,
Yeah.
because the guy that does my hair is, his sister runs one of the big groups here at Providence Hospital. They're
wherever you have to sit for any length of time is a good,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know, like.
Every bathroom in town should
I
have
was waiting for that.
brochures.
Yes.
I think that's an awesome idea.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. We have to cast our net wide. We have some volunteer opportunities. Please take a look at our sign-up sheet on your way out. We would love for folks to sit on our subcommittees of outreach and marketing, or assessment and evaluation, or take action in opioid prevention. So please take a look. And then we also, everyone in the room and everyone on television, we have we have an environmental. Shelley, can you tell them?
All right. Environmental scan. So, so we would love for volunteers to basically go out and scope out the vape shops within like a certain mile radius of us.
Scouts.
And to scope them out, like basically to go and look at
wanna show you.
how they place their products and what the exposure is for young people in the community. So you're looking at what is the window space that faces the street. So like if, a kid is riding by on their bike, what are they seeing relative to the products? Do you have to be 18?
Everybody can start with the big Y right now.
Well, right, because do you have to be 18 to go in there? The big Y you don't. So like, what can you see when you walk right in and you see all the products, to the right? So we have a little tool which provides us a way to kind of do some analytics around that. And
Thanks
it would be
frozen,
great
but-
to have some people who are interested in doing this. It's a little bit of sleuth work, but you kind of go and you scope out the store. But then if you want to, you can also go in and ask them questions, and about what their practices are. So it becomes a little bit of a marketing survey to see what their practices are. But it also sends the message that there are people in the community who care about these things, and that we, want to know that they're a responsible business that is carding and, following what the rules are. So anyway, we are looking for volunteers if you're interested in that. I may take some of it on in the summer myself.
And you could bring
Go drive
Patty.
around.
Would you go as like with a
Yeah, when I'm here, I
was just
enjoyed.
saying that.
Patty and
I
I
think
did
that
this
might be a
like a
good
couple of
idea.
years ago.
We did.
And it actually was really interesting. And I mean, for me, it actually helped my work here and my conversations here. So it's really interesting. And if you're a parent, I highly encourage you to go out and visit a shop
And ask
see
questions.
what. Yeah.
They were so.
They're salespeople.
They were very informative, and they also, let us know what we should put on display at Long Meadow Days. We were able to, put what to buy and what he thought would be effective. And the salesperson really had a vested interest in, doing things the right way.
I think what Liz just asked is a valid question. Could you go and do that with your kids?
Oh.
And let them hear what the
Like a
person is
teenager.
saying? It would be interesting to
Yeah.
see how the person would respond.
Well, we do have a shoulder tap
start
survey,
with Mr.
which is
Moore.
going to be happening next week, where we're bringing teenage volunteers from SAD to some places in Enfield. And I won't disclose what the target locations are.
Or the day that we're doing
Or
it.
the day, I'm sorry, the
Yeah.
day that we're doing it for all of our watchers. But they are going to be actually trying to, have people buy for them.
Yeah, it's
in
a
the
social
parking lot.
access strategy. So they're asking adults or strangers, if I gave you $10, would you buy me a blah blah blah, a Juul, whatever? And they're trying to get data around how easy is it to get
Right.
social access to an illicit substance for a
We're
minor.
not trying to entrap anyone.
No, yeah,
No.
it's not punitive, so the
No.
police won't be. We're teaming up with the Enfield Police Department, but they're just going to be there for safety's sake. It's not for any law
Right.
enforcement. Yeah. So teenagers are helping us do that. On the parenting end, we'd love parents' help on finding out what is the environment that these stores offer, and what products do they sell, and what's the advertising, and all that stuff. It'd be great. So we'd love some of your help if you guys wanted to volunteer. It would take like 30 minutes of your life to do one store.
To do one store, yeah.
Yeah.
And actually, Big Y Express could be one of those stores.
Yeah.
And it would be interesting, because then if we discover a place that we are concerned about, then as a group, we can decide what we'd like to do about that. So, yeah. So anyway, if you're interested in volunteering, there's a sign up for that, or just let us know. So.
Yeah, let's do
We're
it.
going to break out, do we want to talk about the town hall at all? The town?
Oh my gosh,
the
please,
town hall
yeah.
bit? Okay.
We have a town hall meeting coming up in the fall that we were coordinating, and early September is when we would, or mid-September, the fall. We're looking to host a meeting on substance use prevention, in particular, potentially alcohol or binge drinking, some sort of focus like that. And we wanted to ask you all, is there any very specific content that the parents, we heeded the feedback of parents at the beginning of the year when they're like, parents need info on vaping, parents need info on vaping. So we did a vaping education event for parents with some experts, and we put that on LCTV and on television and on our website. So we can do this. So are there other aching issues that parents need to know about that we should hold a community forum for in the fall as a coalition?
Drinking.
Drinking, vaping. We already did one on vaping. We already did one on vaping.
You don't want to do any more vaping.
We could, but it exists now. So if
Yeah.
like people want to know information, we can share it.
Maybe marijuana with potential
Edibles.
openings in Springfield of pot shops.
But also the, what is it? How, it's not safe to drive, sorry, I'm not thinking.
Impaired driving?
Impaired driving.
And a vet just got interviewed today up in Northampton area, and they're seeing an increase of pets eating the edibles,
Yeah.
and some are dying, you know.
The
So
emergency department at Bay State has seen an increase in
Yeah.
infants who
But
have ingested
little animals
marijuana.
can't handle
Yeah.
edibles.
So probably, yeah,
Marijuana.
And
That-
I wonder what, in the oils and like the creams that you can use, there's not, like, is there any harm to people using that? You'd think I would know.
The CBD
No,
oils
I mean,
or-
very few people know. So that's why it's a great question.
Marijuana revisited.
Does it go into the bloodstream and does it stay there? Like if you're an athlete and you have blood work done after.
Why are you gesturing to me?
No, because you might know, because
You're an athlete.
I thought blood work.
I just thought of one more thing, so to go back to what we were talking about, clubs. There's the medical club at the high school, and what they have done in the past, they haven't met for a little while, but they have like doctors come in and talk about their specialties. Maybe that could be something, coordinate with them,
Yeah.
medical club to have, you guys go in and talk about it, or some doctor that has to do with addiction.
Which we have on our coalition. That would be so
Right.
cool. I didn't know that. There's a medical
How
club.
many kids are in that club?
My son?
One?
One. No. I'm sure it's
At least
popular.
probably 10.
Really?
That'd be great.
Impressive.
They had a business class, or they have a business class, and they had me come in to talk about my work as a profession, which was hilarious
Yeah.
and to me almost a joke. But to them it was like, oh, they didn't even know that there was like this work that existed. So it was cool. So there are people interested in this work.
Public health.
Yeah. So
So-
it sounds like marijuana is interesting.
Yeah, yeah.
We have a
We have
couple.
to have alcohol included in the event,
We
right?
do. We can include the brain science of alcohol use and indoor binge drinking with whatever we do. So
Also the
St. Mary's
statistic
again.
with alcohol and marijuana.
the combined use. Yeah.
St. Mary's.
You want to do it at St. Mary's?
Well, we had such a good attendance there. People seemed positive about going there.
Is that in the parish center?
Yeah.
Okay, not in like the
You were
church.
there. Were you?
I wasn't at that event. No, I wasn't hired yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Is there any statistics about, we were talking about scare tactics. Is it better to scare parents than children?
That's a really good question. I don't think so. I
know.
think
I don't
it
know.
translates similarly.
Like having like mug shots of people who are like heroin addicts and how bad they usually look,
Mm.
and then people they killed. That would be like heartbreaking for the parent, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know the stats on that.
I imagine it's the same 2-week window.
I wonder if, maybe in a connected way, I wonder if we have, I think LPD is a part of the town hall. Like, I do think parents like to hear what the police department's perspective or
What they're
experience
seeing, what they're
is
doing,
with
yeah.
what they're seeing. And I know they got a lot of attention when they first started talking about the opiates in town and some of the incidents that they had responded to. So I wonder, in terms of underage drinking, with that theme, or just how what they're seeing with drinking and marijuana both, because those are our highest used items or highest used drugs of choice for our teens.
Or just in general, what they're seeing.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I think it's a great idea to partner with LPD.
And I like what you said too about the ED. like, I wonder if there's anybody who would come and
Mhm.
speak from that side of it, like, what are they seeing for young people, particularly in emergency rooms
Yep.
related to.
EMT maybe
to-
even.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh. That's a cool idea. So
I think
some,
parents would be interested in that.
some bit of a panel in some way.
Like the police department shifted its policy, like you and I know about that, but I bet you most parents wouldn't
On
know.
juvenile reporting?
Well, the juvenile justice reform has changed how they do things, but apart from that, they also shifted how they handled grad party requests this year.
Oh, yeah.
And that would be, I think, any kind of protocol change. They've had a number of protocol changes related to young people that have gone in this year, so that could be an interesting, and there might be concerns or questions parents have about that would be good to communicate.
That's actually another idea for where we were talking about websites or things like that. A lot of people go on the police department website, they would take our messages.
Yeah.
That's
They
true
wanted
for
to
a
host a
partner.
huge banner on their lawn, but the town wouldn't let them. And so that'd be a great idea.
Yeah, put in the police log.
Mm-hmm.
They have a screen in their lobby, too.
Yeah. They've been good partners about letting us post stuff.
They've been awesome.
So,
I need my house number.
so we can
Okay.
Break out to, right?
Yeah, we have almost 10 minutes. We have 15 minutes, but,
What are you looking at?
Yeah, we
shoot.
have 5 minutes.
oh my God, I'm literally looking, oh, my computer froze at 8:14. And I've been like, man, I can't believe how rapidly we talked about that thing in 2 minutes. Great, so we have 5 minutes. Thank you, Shelley. Let's break out. So for all those watching at home, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for the folks who showed up tonight to our full coalition meeting. We'll see you again in the fall. Check out our website for more information at www.closecommunity.org and have a great summer.
Thank you.
Don't go home yet. You.